Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a great night. So, I just finished up with some work and I have just enough energy to do one video for YouTube. So, I'm going to be doing a Twitter Peeps react. So, what happened with Chantal today? Well, she did something kind of shocking. She drove across the border from Canada to America. She drove into New York. And why did she do that? Was it for something important? Was it for some pressing issue? Not really. She drove 3+ hours over to New York to eat a bunch of fast food. Yeah, I'm not kidding. She literally drove across the border to eat some fast food. Now, here's what gets interesting. So, there has been much speculation that the rental car really wasn't a rental car, it was her aunt's car. And her aunt was with her because the aunt was present during her vlog, which she later posted. Here's also what's disturbing about this trip. So I just saw a couple of clips on Twitter. Thank you, Twitter peeps. You know, you guys know that I've been pointing out that Chantal has been doing a lot of the adult baby content on her channel. She really started getting into that during the Kuwait arc. She did a lot of baby talk and baby behavior with Salah, and I thought it was limited to just Salah, that she only acted that way with the men in her life, specifically Salah. Well, guess what, family? I was wrong, because it would seem her own family is treating her that way. They are infantizing her and indulging her that way, and it's just freaking weird. I saw the clips on Twitter. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Why is her aunt talking to her that way? Why is she treating her that way? You guys are going to see what I'm talking about when I show you the Twitter peeps, but it's creepy. It's weird. It makes no sense. Chantal is 42 years old. Her aunt is fully aware of the fact that she's 42 years old, and yet she's treating her own niece as if she's 5 years old. And she's never acted that way with Chantal before. So I have to wonder. I really, really have to wonder, because would Chantal just drive across the border to get fast food? Yeah, she would. She is so much of a food addict that she would drive across the border, but Chantal does not do anything without purpose. I have to wonder if maybe some fetish clients paid her a lot of money to drive across the border, eat a bunch of food, and also indulge them with the adult baby content. And the aunt was in on it. And that's why she was talking to Chantal the way she was talking to her. So, eesh, just gross. Anyway, we've got some stuff to go over on Twitter. And I want to thank all the Twitter peeps that put this stuff out there. I've been collecting stuff today. So we're going to do kind of a short video. Let's get into all of the wonderful, informative Twitter peeps. And I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Yeah, you know what? Like I just saw the clips on Twitter, the vlog that Chantal put out later after her live, the clips of her, the way she was talking to her aunt and the way that her aunt was talking to her. And this is something that Aunt Phyllis has never done before. She's never talked to Chantal this way before. Why are you starting now, Aunt Phyllis? It's just creepy and weird that you are infantizing your 42-year-old niece. What is wrong with you? What kind of sickness is this? Anyway, so let me just go ahead and get started here. Okay, so for those of you that are on Twitter, that you want to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, Wild Girl Sarah. And for those of you not on Twitter, that's why I do the peeps. so you guys can keep up with all the girl world stuff without actually having to be on the Bird app. So remember what I said about Chantal acting like a child on this trip? It's just creepy and weird. Well, here's an example. And thank you, Kristen. Kristen says, if this isn't the most riding the bus with my sister stuff I've ever seen, I don't know what is. So let's watch the clip.
What do you think? Hi.
Oh, look at my Beezer beautiful niece on her birthday, everybody. We're having such a nice day. Look at her hat.
Made by hand.
Made by hand. Whose hands?
The lady's hand.
Very.
Do y'all see this? It's not just Chantal acting like a child. It's her aunt talking to her like she's a child. And there's Chantal over there clapping her hands like a little girl. It's just, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you acting this way? And Aunt Phyllis, why are you indulging her to act this way? Why aren't you looking at your niece and saying, what is the matter with you? Do we need to take you to a hospital? Is there something wrong with you? I think there's something seriously wrong here. You know, I know that Chantal hates adulthood. She really, really hates it. And she's always trying to find ways to go backwards in time. Always talking about her childhood stories, reminiscing about her childhood. That's one thing. That's Chantal. But to see members of her own family indulging her this way, something's wrong with them too. Dorky Poop Stain says Chantal is in the United States and seems not in a good mood. I bet she spent that $65 in gas hoping her beezers would be all over themselves to send PayPals. The donos didn't come in and she has no money to spend on food. Well, she bought food all right, but I'm sure that she maybe thought that if she drove across the border, if she did something besides lay on her couch and seal, that they would be so incredibly happy they would just dump money all over her during her live stream. And I don't think that happened. I really don't think so. She ate a bunch of food. She made herself ill. And for the most part, it was a boring stream because all she did was eat. Chantal is trying everything to avoid being creative, doing great content. She is just stuck in her ways. And she has convinced herself that she's Foodie Beauty and she could do boring content and she can still make money off of it. But there will arrive a time when people are going to say enough is enough. I don't know when that's going to happen, but she is just boring everybody to death. I did hear that the Beezers were complaining about, hey, can we do something besides eat? Can we do something besides talk about food? And Chantal kind of, fought back. And she said, this is my content and this is what I want to do. The Beezers just aren't getting it through their heads. The ones that are not food fetish freaks, they're not understanding that she has a food addiction. There are people in her chat that fully support that, fully enable that, and fully fund that. And as long as they're in her giving her money, she's not going to stop. So if you're an ordinary Beezer and you don't have a food fetish, and you are not about that life of enabling and funding her, you're just looking for regular creative content, well, save yourself the trouble and get out now because she has turned her channel into a fetish channel. All kinds of fetishes. I've been clocking that for years. Fondue Spiteful Beach says Foodie Beauty's selfish, entitled, spoiled brat who was never told no or that's enough, and it shows. You know, if my husband, who I proclaimed to love dearly, wasn't serious, surrounded by conflict, the last thing I'd be doing is videoing myself, smiling, sucking on candy she loves so much. So, yeah. So Salah's in Syria, going through it, and this is what she's choosing to do. Go across the border, do vlogs of herself, sucking on maple candy, because why not? Diabetes who? She's got extremely high blood sugar and she's eating sugar. And her aunt was there. And her aunt didn't say, Chantal, you really shouldn't be doing that. You are a diabetic. The aunt was completely on board with what Chantal wanted to do, again, which makes me wonder, did Chantal talk to the aunt and say, hey, drive me across the border or let me have your car because I can make a bunch of money and I'll give you some. All I need is a car to do it. I just need to go somewhere and act like a little kid and dress like a little kid. Kelly says, Foodie Beauty's family treats her like a child. And what's worse is she acts like one. I'm starting to believe her aunt might actually be her biological mother. Well, she's not her mother, but I have heard that of all the members of the family, that Aunt Phyllis is the one that Chantal will talk to the most. That the aunt is a bit of a wild spirit, and Chantal is a bit of a wild spirit. So maybe Aunt Phyllis, when she looks at Chantal, she sees parts of herself when she was younger, and that's why they're so close. But this is a form of enabling. Phyllis, you're enabling your niece to hurt herself and engage in this behavior rather than calling it out. And that's so incredibly wrong. Okay, anybody that's eating something, drinking something, please put it down now. I'm giving you fair warning. You're not going to like this clip. The tone knob says she reaches back to scratch her butt and feels that it's sticky and moist and can't help but take a sniff. Foodie Beauty is the definition of the word disgusting. But to do this on camera in front of another person is unthinkable to the rest of us. Fat Kid Cool says, here's Foodie Beauty scratching her butt and sniffing her fingers. Then you hear Salah in the background asking why, and she quickly shushes him like that'll somehow make it less disgusting. So this was back when she was in Syria with Salah. But let's watch.
Okay, maybe after the live, no sugar, because I can't do it now. Mosquito. Hey, Fernanda.
Why you stop being loud?
Yeah, like that was disgusting. She's like, mosquito where? You're scratching for a mosquito and yet you're covered from head to toe. So it can't be a mosquito bite. Besides, mosquitoes, normally you get mosquitoes in areas where there's lots of woods and lots of water and you're not in that kind of area. But if you're covered from head to toe in fabric, I think you're pretty safe from mosquitoes. That wasn't a mosquito bite you were scratching. Tired AF says, no. Here's Chantal on the target. Well, that's a choice. That's definitely a look. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's definitely a look. Butter Crumpet says, Cutie's rental car, she'll return it greasy. Is it her rental car, though, or is it Shmi's car? That kind of looks like Shmi's car. I could be wrong, though, but yeah, I don't think Chantal's going to have it cleaned before she returns it, if it is a rental car. But if it's the aunt's car, well, the aunt's just going to have to deal with it. Fat Kid Cool says, really, Chantal? At this point, it's not even shocking anymore. No filter, no class, no clue. Let's watch.
Is illegal? Okay, well, I should probably take some anti-diet pills. I might have to stop on the road. Is it illegal? Can someone ask ChatGPT if it's illegal to poo on the road if you have an emergency, like in a bush? Oh, public defecation is illegal? Okay, well then I won't do that.
You shouldn't do that. Because that's bio waste. Hello? Human waste is bio waste. I'm really surprised you really had to ask the question, but then again, it's you we're talking about. No, you can't just stop on the side of the road and poo. Were you planning to do that across the border? Maybe film yourself doing it? film yourself pooing on the other side of the border in America, on the side of the road. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that at all.
I should probably take some anti-diet pills. I might have to stop on the road. Is it illegal? Can someone ask ChatGPT if it's
And why in the listen, Chantal, you are on metformin, insulin, you were taking Ozempic, and you want to put anti-diet pills on top of that? You're going to mix it all up inside of you like you're some giant cocktail glass and expect that it'll all work out fine? It may not. Where are you going to get these anti-diet pills? You're going to get them at the gas station. You're going to get gas station diet pills. I wouldn't recommend that. You don't know what's in them.
illegal to poo on the road if you have an emergency, like in a bush? Oh, public defecation is illegal?
Yep.
Okay, well then I won't do that.
Yeah, good. Good. I'm glad somebody in the chat told her. Nope, you can't do that. Don't even think about it. Ron says, here's a slowed down clip courtesy of YouTube Underground live stream where Foodie says her aunt brought the car up to her on Friday. A rental company would only release the car to the person in the reservation. So that means Aunt Phyllis rented and Foodie is cruising around in it. So it begs the question, why can't Foodie rent her own car? Why does Aunt Phyllis have to rent the car for her? It's really odd. Why can't you rent your own car anymore, Foodie? Does something happen to your debit card, to your whatever it is you got going on? I mean, you used to be able to rent your own cars. Now your aunt has to do it. Let's listen.
Maya brought me up the car, and then we...
Wait, what was that? Tap it back.
Maya brought me up the car.
Who said it? Somebody in chat fucking said it, that they thought that the aunt rented the car in her name. And I was like, I don't think so.
That was a good catch, though. That was a real good catch. And that's usually the case with Chantal. She will say things and she'll say them quick. And then you're like, hold on a minute. What'd you say? You know, you got to tap it back. You got to slow it down. You got to rewind it to catch it. But sometimes it gets caught, and it got caught right here. So your aunt brought you the car. Why would she have to bring you the car? Unless she was the one who rented it in the first place, or it's her car. Good catch. Real good catch. So did you even rent the car, Chantal? Is it your aunt's car? I mean, your aunt was with you during the vlog. Yeah, I think that's how it went. That you went across the border because of your aunt. Fondue Spiteful Beach says, Foodie Beauty, what a freaking shocker. Yep. So she did this whole announcement going live on Kick for an epic bees. So when you say something like that, you know, you are putting big expectation on what you're about to do. So what was the epic bees? That right there. The grocery store. Going to eat a bunch of fast food. She could have done that in Canada and not driven 3 hours. But again, everything in Chantal's life, a lot of it has purpose. She doesn't go anywhere and she doesn't do anything unless she's getting paid. And the further she has to travel away from home, the more time she has to spend off that cloud couch, the more money she's probably getting paid. So I'm betting dimes to donuts, she got some money, big money, to drive across the border to eat that fast food, and maybe a little bit of extra money to do the adult baby content. That's what I'm feeling. Like she was fulfilling a couple of different fetishes all at once. She got some money for what she did. Because going to the grocery store ain't it. That's not an epic bee. She can do that back in Canada. Doc Remy LeBeau says Foodie Beauty is in the States. She went live on Kick from a Target and just said she's in Watertown. She didn't say what state, but I'm guessing New York. Yeah, it was Watertown, New York. And here's my tweet. I said, so Foodie Beauty drove across the border for fast food and to poop herself. Such a fun birthday plans. Yeah, we are all jealous of you, Foodie. Bedbound bees coming along nicely. Well, I told y'all in the live that I did, with every decision you make, every choice you make, there's a consequence. And with every plate of food, every batch of 10,000 calories, every pound that she puts on herself, she is putting another bar on her prison cell. Her prison is her own body. And every time she sits down and she snacks out, she has a bee moment, she overeats, she's adding another bar to the wall. And pretty soon, she's not going to be able to get up off that bed. And that's the choice that she's making for herself. She doesn't care about her mobility. She doesn't care about her health. So we're all just observers. There's nothing we can do. And if she's got the fetish people around her, the food fetish people around her, even her own family enabling her, what is anybody to do? There's way too much enabling here. And it's never going to stop. Eyelash says Sarah Lee doesn't like people suggesting that Foodie Beauty didn't rent a car. She replied 4 times in my last short. Oh, Eyelash, you poor thing. So Sarah Lee showed up in your comments. Well, she's come on my channel as well. As a matter of fact, just so you know, Eyelash, she's got a couple of other stock accounts that she uses when people go live. And she's been in my lives every single freaking time I go live. She just can't help herself. But let's see what she said to Eyelash. Sarah Lee, aka Foodie, says, but she didn't admit anything. I've seen conspiracy theories that she didn't rent the car. She clearly did. Why do people keep making up fake gossip? Just that Chantal is gross doesn't mean people who are making up false gossip are not dumb. Chantal, that is so you. Everybody knows that's you. The Sarah Lee account is you. I don't care how many stock accounts you make up. When you talk to people, the way you talk to people, it gives you away. You don't sound different. You sound exactly the same. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Like when you open up those lips and you start spewing those hateful words, we know it's you. Moose says, question, how they let her into America with Syrian passport marks? Sarah Lee says she does. You need one in order to rent a car, which she did. Maybe that's the reason why she asked for her aunt's car. Maybe that's the reason. Because of her being in Syria recently. And maybe she was afraid that she would be stopped or bothered in some way. So going to the aunt to cover up the fact that, the stuff. Melanie says, wow, I would not trust her with my car. Phyllis is brave. Sarah Lee says, that's not her aunt's car. It's a rental. In this case, 2 things can be true at once. Have you guys ever heard that saying, 2 things can be true at the same time? So what if it is the aunt's car and Chantal gave her money to rent it out for a while? So 2 things can be true at once. If Aunt Phyllis said, yes, I have a car, and yes, you can use it, and Chantal said, well, I'll give you money if you let me use it. Maybe that was the agreement, that Aunt Phyllis wasn't just simply letting Chantal use her car for free. Maybe she got some coin out of it. So maybe 2 things can be true at the same time. It was her aunt's car, and Chantal got it for a specific fee. Sarah Abbey says, what's sad is that, Foodie Beauty planned her US trip and it was for food. She told herself since it was her birthday, she deserved a 2 or 3 day birthday bee moment and then would start her diet for the millionth time. She truly has one of the most depressing life. The fact that she got excited doing this. From everything I saw, she really wasn't excited. I don't think Chantal gets excited over food anymore. It's just, this is my job and this is what I have to do. I haven't seen true excitement and happiness in Foodie with food in a long, long time. I think it started off being exciting and then it kind of just lost its glamour. And now she's like, well, this is all I can do. This is all I can do. This is what I'm known for. This is how I make my money. What else am I going to do? I can't do anything else. Nothing But Love says, can you imagine talking so much crap about Americans and then come on over to the United States and tell people exactly where you are? She's not too smart. You're not in Canada anymore, Chantal. No. So all of this bad mouthing of the United States, and yet it was Chantal who drove 3+ hours across the border to come to the United States just for fast food. So as horrible as America is, she couldn't stop herself from getting that food, did she? Nope. I don't like America. They suck. But yet she came over here for the fast food. Doc Remy LeBeau says, alert, alert. Leo the Foodie is back in the chat propositioning Chantal as she roams around the Five Below in Watertown, New York. She just disappeared into the restroom for the first potty break of the day. So let's see, Leo. Look at this. Leo says, eat 6 ice cream sandwiches for $100. This is the kind of audience she wants. This is the audience that she's going for. If Chantal had 20 more Leos in her chat and she could make money off of every single one of them, she would be so happy. And I'm sure that there's others hiding in her chat that they're just not being as obvious. We know that Nina is a bit of a Foodie. She has given Chantal money many times to go get coffee and beaver tails and other things. So there are obvious Foodies in the chat. And then there are the hidden Foodies that are enabling her and giving her money. Well, Beezers, those of you that are enabling her and funding her if something happens to her, you will be partially responsible. Hope you know that. There's Chantal in the car. It's not even that cold out. Fondue Spiteful Beach says Foodie Beauty drove 2.5 hours each way to satisfy her addiction, also breaking motor vehicle laws by driving in left passing lane for miles. Yep, and this is what she went out for. And all of this stuff she could have gotten in Canada. All of it. And I'm going to say it one more time. Chantal should not be driving. She's a danger to herself. She's a danger to other people, even when she's not behind the wheel, but even more so when she is behind the wheel. This person who is super, super morbidly obese, when she gets in a vehicle, she can't even turn her head. She can't turn around to look. She's got to wedge herself in the car to fit. The steering wheel is right up against her stomach. And if a car hits her, it's going to slice her in half. Her vision is terrible, especially at night. And if she has a medical event behind the steering wheel, that could potentially hurt her or somebody else. She should not be driving at all. And Aunt Phyllis is a fool and reckless for letting Chantal rent the car or give her the car. You know that your niece is not well, that she could have a medical event. She's got bad vision. She can't turn her head to look around, and you're letting her get behind the wheel of a car? Are you insane? You must be insane, or you must not care about other people on the road. Shame on you, Aunt Phyllis. Duchess of Langley says driving all the way to the United States just to go through drive-thrus and poop in dollar store toilets. And she's miserable because no matter how far she drives, there she is. Yep. Wherever you go, there you are. And your problems will follow. Chantal, listen, you have pooped your way all around Canada. Don't come over here and do it. I'm sorry, Canada. Apologies. I know you guys want a break from her, but she can't sit with us. You understand? She's your problem. You need to deal with that problem eventually. Rubber Crazy Troll Band says Foodie Beauty saying things look welfare is extremely classiest and telling. She is white trash pretending she's above white trash. Girl, go back to Cornwall and pretend Salah loves you. What? What does she mean? Things look welfare. What a horrible thing to say. What is the matter with you, Foodie? Things look welfare. What do you mean? I'm so glad I didn't hear you say that. I would have gone off on you. Fondue Spiteful Beach says, Foodie Beauty, the addict is raging because she got her rugs and wants to go home. If you don't like my content, go to the store yourselves. Honey, your poorly veiled attempt to turn your rug seeking into content grift for us is wild. Yep. And before the beaters come over here yelling and screaming, listen, a rug is a rug is a rug. Addiction is addiction. Do you understand? Addiction is addiction. And addictions, when they reach extreme levels, can be devastating. They can wreck, they can ruin. And if left unchecked, they can take your life. Before they take your life, though, they take everything else away from you. Your family, your friends, your job, your health, everything of importance, anything that matters. Your life is the last thing addiction takes. And in my opinion, I think that addiction is ready to swallow her whole. You know, she's in the final stretch because she's leaving it unchecked. I mean, how out of your mind are you that you're so obsessed with food that you're willing to drive 3 hours, 4 hours across the border and back just for fast food? How addicted are you that you're going to do that? Especially if you are not in good health and the only place you should be traveling is the doctor. But rather than go to the doctor, you're going to travel across the border just to get some fast food, the very thing you shouldn't have. Girl Scout says, how responsible of the uncontrolled type 2 diabetic with BED who's currently on metformin, insulin, and Ozempic to drive several hours round trip international into the United States to eat, spike her sugars, and then drive home while experiencing a blood sugar crash out? Well, it's what she wants to do. And every time she gets on the road now, I pray that nothing happens to her. Because if something happens to her when she's driving, she could hurt herself or hurt somebody else. No one should be giving this woman a car, period. Period. End of. Jasmine B says, ungrateful. Enigma 2025 says, actually, it is them paying for her car with their money. Who else paid for her trip besides them? How is she able to cross into our country coming from Syria? Let's listen.
Yeah, but I got the car. I may as well use it. I don't know. You guys don't have to. It's not you paying for it, so.
Ha 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 ha. I beg to differ. Chantal, everything in your life for the last 10 years has been paid for by other people. Other people, not you. And you owe a great big thank you to Daddy YouTube, because if Daddy YouTube had not allowed you to have a channel on YouTube, on its platform, where you could make money, where would you be? Honestly, where would you be? YouTube gave you a doggone good living for a long time. Good enough that you didn't have to have a regular job. You could just make videos and do lives and make enough money where you could do exactly what you wanted. And what you wanted to do was indulge and indulge and indulge and indulge. You indulged all of your addictions and obsessions, took to the highest level, ruining your health from all the indulgence because you had no restriction on the indulgence. But all that was funded by other people. Other people giving. You cannot honestly say that you earned the money that you were given. You just stuck your hand out and said, give it to me. And it was given to you. But everything about your life, your groceries, your rent money, the trips that you took, the sugar babies that you had, everybody paid for you and for them too. You didn't pay for a doggone thing.
Candy haul? I don't want too much candy.
And you know what? I don't know if any beezers are going to watch this, but if I were a beezer, being aware of the fact that this one, she's entitled, she's bratty, she's demanding, she's a taker. She takes, she doesn't give back. You guys have given her the luxury, the privilege, the freedom to live a life where she doesn't have to worry, like a lot of us worry, about bills and rent and so forth. And what do you want in return? What do you ask in return? All you ask for this tremendous freedom, this privilege, is just some great entertaining content. And she refuses to give it. She barely gets off the couch. You have to pay her to get off the couch. Even though you don't have to pay her, she's already getting paid by being on the platform and getting that ad money. If I were a beezer, I'd be asking myself, what has she done for me lately as a subscriber, as a donator? What has she done for me lately? Has she even really tried to do great content? Or is she like trying to come up with new and creative ways to be more lazy? Yeah, she is. She's trying to come up with different ways to be more lazy and do less for y'all versus more. Okay, Tired AF says Foodie Beauty. Eyelash says Foodie Beauty just confirmed she's driving Aunt Phyllis's car, not a rental. Let's watch.
You guys are never happy. You guys always complain. What the fuck? Anything I get. Okay. My sandwich! Can you block Alana? It's gonna be soggy.
I was waiting for the part where she said it, but we heard it earlier. It's okay. All right. We already saw that. I have to include this just for nostalgic sake. Jen says Jelly shoes are back. And for $50, They were $2 with glitter back in the 80s. Yeah, I was there. Anybody that grew up in the 80s, then if you were a woman or a female, you remember jelly shoes. And yeah, they were extremely cheap back in the day. And let me tell you something. If there's anybody out there looking at these shoes and saying, oh, they're kind of cute, they might be great for spring, let me just inform you of something. Don't do it. Trust and believe you don't want to do it. Because back in the day, when I wore the jelly shoes, they make your feet sweat. And then when your feet start sweating, they start to stink because of the sweat in the plastic, not because you're a dirty person. And then once your feet start sweating and getting wet with sweat, then your feet are sliding all over the shoe. It's a great big old mess. But if anybody out there, if you want a pair of jelly shoes, you can easily go on eBay. And if you want the real deal, the real jelly shoes, they have vintage jelly shoes all day for like 15, 20 bucks. Screw this $50 nonsense. That's stupid. They're jelly shoes. They're rubber. They're plastic. Don't you dare pay $50 for a pair of jelly shoes. You hear me? Don't do it. Don't fall into the trap. That is just a bunch of nonsense. Nonsense, I tell you. Okay, for anybody out there who has a dog, I know there are cat owners. This is for all of you that have puppers. Papa Wolf and Krampus says, calling all dog owners. The doctors and team at Bryan Animal Clinic want you to know the artificial sweetener xylitol is now being marketed as birch sugar. Xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs and can cause liver failure. It is commonly found in peanut butter, chewing gum, and ice cream. So if you got a puppers and you're thinking about giving your dog ice cream or peanut butter as a treat, please be careful. Please check the ingredients so that your little one doesn't get ill. Okay. Something funny from Internet Hall of Fame. Ma'am, your rock is chasing you. Have you ever seen anything like this? So this poor woman is trying to mow her lawn and the turtle is chasing her. It's like reverse Pokemon. Instead of the person chasing the animal is chasing the person. The turtle's like, gotta catch them all. We got reverse Pokemon. The turtle's like, Uno reverse card pulled. I'm chasing after you. You're not getting away from me. That's funny. Aw, baby kangaroo entered their garden and was refusing to leave. So this guy dressed up as a mama kangaroo and tried to put it back in his kangaroo pouch. Well, baby roos, they feel safe inside their mother's pouch. So the baby roo was just like, I need a pouch to go into. That's adorable. Chantal's abandoned scooter says Chantal's birthday lives yesterday were kind of sad. She was clearly super lonely. She also kept complaining about clubs and how much she hates the environment, music, etc. And I couldn't help but think she was just bitter because she has no one to hang out with even on her birthday. Well, you know what, Chantal? I bet that if you were in better shape, I bet that if you weren't super, super morbidly obese, the point of being almost bedbound, if say you were, let's just say the 300 pounds, and you had your mobility, and you had a bit more confidence, I bet you would not be putting down the clubs and the music and the environment. You'd be all up in there, having a fine time. But because you chose to devote yourself to your addictions, and because you decided that the fetishism of strangers mattered more than your own personal happiness, you made your choice. As long as you keep satisfying that fetish for those people and also highly focused and fixated on your addiction, I guess no going to the club, no meeting new people, no having a good time, no having some laughter in your life. You gave up certain things in order to have other things. But yeah, just you're a lonely person. And because you're lonely, you put down things that I'm sure you would enjoy if you were healthier. Hectic Llama says this: no medical intervention is going to help her without intensive, probably inpatient therapy, which is the one thing she refuses to do. Florida Salt and Sad says how she's behaving on Ozempic is the exact reason why surgery is not an option for her and more than likely would be deadly. Well, I've been saying for how long? She needs inpatient, strict, locked down, inpatient. Like you are admitted and no one's allowed in. You can't sneak food in. You can't sneak food out. You got to stay right there. You're monitored at all times. Your food is monitored at all times. That kind of place. For it to work, she's got to want it to work. She's got to, check herself in and stay there, which I doubt she'll do because that'll never happen in a million years. But she needs inpatient. She needs supervision. She needs somebody else telling her what to do because look what happens when she tells herself what to do. Doc Remy LeBeau says, oh, wow, I didn't catch that at this time, but sure enough, I pulled the screenshots. Nina sent the money, and within 8 minutes, Chantal was ordering at Harvey's. Nina pays for a lot of on-air eating. There's Nina saying, did you get my message? I wanted to treat you to a dinner for a late birthday. Do we have another one? Yes, we do. And Nina says PayPal. So Nina's a bit of a feedie too, an enabler as well. You know what, Nina? There's a price to pay for enabling bad behavior. You're stacking up some bad karma. You are actively giving money to a food addict who's about, I would say, 20, 30, 40 pounds away from being bedbound, and you're helping her get there. And if something happens to Chantal, you and everybody else funding this crap, don't you dare get online and start crying and saying, oh, it's such a shame. It's such a shame she's gone or she's sick and she can't come online, because you'll be part of the reason why you don't see her anymore. You literally have blood on your hands. If something happens to Foodie, you will have blood on your hands for that. 500 Kids and No Money says, Nina popping in like check your PayPal. And 2 minutes later, Foodie Beauty's car is magically headed to Hardee's. Yeah, that's not support. That's enabling. If you're literally funding someone else's self-destruction in real time, don't call it kindness. Call it what it is. Yeah, call things by their right names. You are a funder. You are an enabler. And shame on you. As much as I don't like Chantal, and believe me, I don't like her, I would never fund her self-destruction. But those of you that call yourselves beezers, that act as friends, you come in with friendly faces and friendly masks, you hide some evil intention behind those masks. You guys are the real haters, not Girl World. You're the ones funding her addiction and making her sick. It takes a special kind of evil to do that. Les Nessman's secretary says, if anyone asks the question, why doesn't Foodie Beauty's family do something? I ask you to take this in mind. Her aunt spent the night there. She came into that apartment and saw the state of it. She could smell the place and Chantal. They ordered food. She even said her 60-year-old aunt wanted to go to the bar in the AM when Chantal woke. Her aunt had cleaned the place and probably took out her weeks of garbage. They spent the early afternoon eating again, then shopping for things to make meat patties, as well as candy and junk she doesn't need. Her aunt helped picking up the rental that her mom paid for. They knew she'd be aimlessly driving around hitting up food establishments, now being barely able to fit behind the wheel. They don't care. They facilitate and enable all of it. No one is saving her. Nope. Nope. They're not saving her, and honestly, nobody can. Chantal's got to take the first step, and she never will as long as there's too many people around her convincing her that what she's doing is perfectly fine and okay, and nobody fighting her on what she's doing. All right, something funny. A possum broke into an Australian bakery and ate so many pastries it couldn't move. This is how they found him. Here's the caption. Do what you must, for I have already won. This is the picture of a possum saying, I don't care if my greed sickens you. I got a big belly. No regrets about that. The pastries were delicious. Doc Remy LeBeau says, and we're raging. Fiona had the audacity to post in the chat that her husband does nice things for her when she goes on work trips. So Chantal went off on her and then housed the nerds rope. Let's watch.
Whatever, Fiona. You don't know anything. You don't know his fucking situation. You don't know shit, okay? Shut your fucking mouth. I know. Seriously. He's in a war zone, right? His erectile dysfunction meds put on back order. Oh my god.
And I noticed, Chantal, we're doing more of this right here, where you're not even sitting up anymore. You used to kind of like half sit up on the couch. Now you're just straight up laying on the bed. You can't even hold your head up.
He literally was gifting me a trip to Malaysia. Like, what the fuck?
No, ma'am. He wasn't gifting you a trip to Malaysia. If he had paid for the plane tickets, why were you getting the notification in your email? Do you think Girl World is stupid? We're not stupid. You only get the notification if you paid for the tickets. You paid for those tickets.
Like, seriously. Anyways, I don't even think he can access Amazon. He doesn't even have a fucking Amazon account. He can't call a florist shop from Syria. Like, just shut the fuck up. Like, just because you expect him to, like, twist over fucking backwards, like, over, like, something stupid like
Woo, she's mad.
that, like, you don't know anything. So dumb. If he did send you something, they would say you bought it. Exactly. So just shut the fuck up. Think what you want. Let's just leave it at you.
You know, Chantal, I'm going to bring something up here. You were completely just rizzed up about your birthday. You said you were going to have an entire birthday month. You had plans. I'm sure you wanted to do something exciting, something adventurous, something shocking maybe. But whatever it is you had planned, I think those plans fell through. I think you had plans with Salah. Those fell through. And I also think that you had plans with Nader, and those also fell through. I think you wanted to bone Nader on the down low, but he wasn't down for that. And that's why you've been kind of in a grumpy mood. Like you wanted to spend your time with somebody, even if it's with somebody that you couldn't say that you were spending time with them, but you were talking all this horny talk about like you want to get jiggy with it. It's been a while, which means it's on your mind. And it just didn't happen, did it? Did Nader say no? Did you not have enough money to pay him? And so that you did what you could. You spent some time with Pete's, and then you drove across the border and got some fast food. You've been cope eating ever since.
He doesn't love me, and that's why I got nothing. Okay, there you go. And you don't even know if I got nothing. I'm not telling you fuck all about my relationship anymore, ever. So good luck.
You don't have a relationship. You know what? I take that back. I'm sorry, my mistake. You did have a relationship with Salah, an employer-employee relationship. It was strictly business. You are his business partner, remember? Strictly business. But there was never any intimate relationship. The intimate relationship was just YouTube script. It was play acting. You guys were putting on a bit of a play for the camera, for views, for money, for content. That's about it.
Call a florist from a war zone. I can't. Right? Sound of Rain? Fucking idiots, man. Let me get Timu over, something from Timu over to you. Like, why didn't he fly a drone from Syria and drop a present? I know. He helps me out in a lot of ways, and it's none of your business. So
Really? He helps you out in a lot of ways. So if he's helping you out in a lot of ways, if he's so incredibly helpful, I'm sorry, I'm gonna clock you on your BS, Chantal. I have to. Listen, you may think that you're a really good liar. You may think that you're a really good manipulator and you've got us all fooled. But here's the thing, you're a really bad liar. And as much as you like to lie, as long as you have lied for years, you still tell on yourself. Even the best of liars give themselves away. And you give yourself away constantly. And one of the ways that you give yourself away is the cope eating. When you're really upset, when you're really sad, when you're really lonely, you eat even more than normal. And you've been doing a lot of cope eating, which means you're not happy. So if you and Salah were really, really good, if you were really happy with him, if all was well, you wouldn't be bitter and angry and just stuffing your face full of food.
oh, good for you. Nobody cares. Everyone put a cookie in the chat for Biona. Fuck's sakes. Stop comparing yourself to people that you don't know. Plain as
You know what? The thing is, Chantal, let's put the situation in reverse for just a moment. If Salah had done something for you, if he had bought you something, sent you something, you'd be very quick to get on camera with that thing, whatever it is, and show it off for the camera and use it as a bragging point and say, see, my husband did this for me. He loves me. What has your husband's ever done for you? Where's your husband? You would turn it all the way around if he had done something, or if there was a way for you to fake him doing something, but you can't fake him doing something because you're not in Syria nor Kuwait anymore. You're in Canada. There's no way for you to fake your fake husband fake loving you. And I think that's what you're the most mad about, is that you cannot buy your own flowers or buy your own gift and put him on camera and make it seem like he cares about you. He's somewhere else and it's practically impossible.
and simple.
Booger.
I'm Ron, but I'm scared people will find out because I don't want them to know. You're Ron! I think my brain filters out most of the dumb comments. Yeah, well, mine has been, but God, it's like not even my fucking birthday anymore. Shut up.
You know what though, Chantal, we just saw a tweet where you were on your sock account, Sarah Lee. And on your Sarah Lee account, you were saying like all the conspiracy theories. How would you know about the conspiracy theories and the speculation unless you were looking around? So you're filtering out all the comments, eh? Not paying attention? But your stock accounts say otherwise. See what I mean about you telling on yourself?
Up about it. Crying out loud.
It's like on one side of things, you try to hide things. but then you reveal yourself. You open your mouth and you reveal yourself. That's what we love about you. Rule number 1, Chantal lies. Rule number 2, she always tells on herself.
I am. I'm going to have some nerds.
Yeah, you go ahead and have those nerds. You know where to stick those nerds. Chaos Reigns says, however, she also can have any man she wants. Everyone is jealous. Who isn't sending her praises and money or criticizes, which she construed haters. Doc Remy LeBeau says Chantal considers taking anti-diarrheal medication before going out for the day, inspects her teeth with her finger, and then asks her chat to find out if it's illegal to poop in a bush. 42 is going great. Yeah, she's grace and she's class. Let's watch.
Should I get a coffee? I should probably take some anti-dia pills. I might have to stop on the road. Is it illegal?
Yeah, we already saw that. And no, you can't poop on the road. You can't. Ray's Dactylion says Chantal didn't want anyone to make a fuss over her on her birthday, but has been going on and on about her birthday month since the end of February. Yep. All this talk about, I'm going to have a great birthday. I'm going to have a great birthday month. Well, from everything I've seen, nothing special. Really quite boring. Which again points to in the direction of she had plans, whatever those plans were, and the plans fell through. And she was left with nothing to do. Like she couldn't just pivot and do something else that might be exciting or interesting. Like, oh, I can't spend time with either one of my sugar babies. Well, then I guess I'll do nothing, because that's exactly what she did. Nothing but eat. This is cute. From Lando. Horse, this food truck is great. The timing. So there's this horse who happens to be right next to a truck full of hay and is saying, hey, free snacks. Fantastic. What a deal. Free food. Nice. All right. We got anything else here? I think we're done with the Twitter peeps. So that's it, y'all. We're done for the night. I'm going to go ahead and post this to YouTube and then get my butt in bed with Queen Booger. Hope you guys have enjoyed this react. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.